It's very optimistic in a great way. Like struggling with thinking about the strategic Bitcoin reserve.
Mm-hmm.
They have such an opportunity here to recapitalize America's balance sheet.
Right.
I think there's sort of that thing will get politicized down the road one day where there'll be a future politician who will be like, wow, we have all these Bitcoin reserves. We have 40 trillion in Bitcoin reserves. Like maybe someone like AOC is like, why don't we liquidate that so we could pay for free housing for everyone? And destroy our reserves and dish out the wealth to the current generation. But I would love to even get that far and have that problem.
Yeah, right.
We could recapitalize Social Security. I like this plan Sailor's rolling out where we just, recapitalize America and demolish and demonetize gold and our enemies' ability to economically fight against us.
Yeah.
And put them all behind us. And this is that moment where other countries are obviously watching what we're talking about, and we are talking about that as a nation.
These are all things that are on the table that, as a Bitcoiner for the last, I don't know how many, you've been in a long time, it's hard to fathom that we're here so fast. It's like all these things we've been talking about that were at some point in the future, and they're all right now.
But, based on all our conclusions already, we all kind of expected this, and these are grand things to say, and that's a broad generalization. But if you believe in everything divided by 21 million, that means you have to blow through 10,000 a coin. You have to blow through 100,000 a coin.
Right.
You have to blow through 1 million. You have to blow through 10 million. Unless you're just being sort of obnoxious or if you believe in that math and that true sort of this is a denominator. So all these things aren't, they're shocking that we're going through it, but they're kind of expected.
No, that's what I mean. I didn't mean, that's not shocking that we're going through it. It's shocking that it's all coming right now, to me at least. Because when you hear about, when I first heard Samson talk about the Omega candle and going to 1 million, I was like, maybe the next cycle. But now I'm seeing all these data points. I'm going, Samson probably knew this before I knew it. And that doesn't seem too far-fetched. There's definitely a few different outcomes that could get us to 1 million real fast.
I think we have to go to 1 million real fast.
That's what I mean.
In a lot of ways, whether it's this cycle or next. There are going to be vicious swings up that I think a lot of people are expecting lower returns going forward or less volatility. And I don't think that's necessarily the case at all.
Well, that
we have such a small sample size behind us.
Yeah. And you have that S curve, right?
You have to go up at one point, straight up.
Straight up.
And if you look at something even... it's you can look at something like Fidelity's report, where they said that in 2038, it's going to be $1 billion per Bitcoin.
Yeah.
To get there, it's violent and straight up. And, I was talking to a very predominant, you could say, famous Bitcoiner who's one of the most bullish Bitcoiners you could ever meet. And he was like, how bullish you are? And I was like, well, you got this article from Fidelity. And he's like, oh, come on, that's hocus pocus numbers. No one could even that's just in a bar wasted numbers. But I don't think they're out of line if you really believe everything divided by 21.
What I don't know I don't know what her title was, but I just saw Fidelity see a cryptocurrency analyst on CNBC from Fidelity that said this cycle 500 to 1 million.
Yeah, again, and I think it's there could be unforeseen events. No one foresee China banning mining for the 9th time.
Yeah. No, I'm sure there's stuff coming.
No one
we're
foreseen
not aware of,
FTX and Celsius and Luna. And so there could be sort of black swans, really weird things. Again, I'm not rooting or for or against it, but what if Trump got assassinated and Powell lowered, what would it be? He would lower rates? No, raise rates dramatically. Right. And back the currency for the next 10 to 20 years with gold. There could be events or just the markets get decimated because of World War. There are bear cases that are, outside of maybe what we expect to happen. But the more we all expect one thing, maybe, again, you have to be a little contrarian. It's something else could happen.
Yeah.
And even if we go up very fast, it's going to happen in a way we can't expect.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's the thing about everyone thinks that bear markets are harder than bull markets, but it's harder to ride a bull than it is to a bear.
Mm-hmm.
A bear is a less viciously mobile animal. I'm not saying you have a better chance against the bear. I'm just saying you could ride the back of a bear probably longer than the back of a bull.
Yeah.
And a bull literally tries to throw you off by going lower. And the difference with the bull and the bear is in a bear market, your losses are capped. It's like options. You put in what you put in, and then you can only lose that amount. It's finite. So you could be yeah, I'm going to zero. I'd only lose that amount.
Right.
But in a bull market, like your losses in the when you sell are infinite in terms of what you miss out on upside potentially.
No,
So,
I know this cycle is going to be really hard to sell.
Well,
this cycle is going to be really hard to sell.
Well, think about it. If you go from like 200,000 to 750,000 in a very short period of time,
It's going to be brutal.
and what that's going to do to people's sort of their own wealth. Like whatever you are worth at the $200,000 point of a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So let's say you're lucky you got to 1 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Right? You're really fortunate. And so now you're worth $200,000 with this 1 Bitcoin. I'm not saying you don't have other things in your life going on. And then it shoots up to 750,000. Now at that point you could sell 200,000. And you know what I mean? You have all the, and then, but you're really facing this thing is like you're worth 750, right? And now maybe you have a wife and kids, you have people dependent on you. And then that thing drops down to 175. Like you're going to look like a schmuck and feel horrible. And maybe still be better off at 175 than you were at $15,000 Bitcoin. But those are psychologically really hard.
Exactly.
And all Bitcoiners who've been around a while have gone through this. But the higher the numbers go, I think the harder those things get to ride, maybe in ways that we all don't expect yet.
So you've heard Bitcoin is the new gold rush by now. As world leaders on all sides have endorsed it as the future of money, and now you're looking to get started, we'll show you how. It's actually easier than you think. First, go to your nearest Byte Federal ATM and turn your cash to coin. Byte Federal has over 1,200 locations around the country with the highest daily limits. Go to our website, bytefederal.com, to find the nearest ATM to you. Log in to any wallet, then create an account, deposit your US cash, and instantly convert it to Bitcoin. That's it. We are the only US manufacturer and operator in the Bitcoin ATM industry, and our US-based live customer service is second to none. Go on, give it a whirl, and don't get left behind. Click the link below.